Setting up to stream or record either from your console or via a dual PC setup can seem a bit daunting if you're looking into it for the first time. Simple to use products are great for gamers looking to dip their toes into the world of content creation. Having a decent capture card is something that you pretty much need if you want to take your content up a level and create something that will stand out in a very crowded scene. Enter Avermedia and their newly released GC551 G2 USB 4K capture card, more informally known as the Live Gamer Extreme 3. Is this something that could help you on your journey to being the next Shroud or Ninja? Hi guys, I'm Matt and welcome to Kit Guru. Today we're going to be taking a look at a new capture card from Avermedia, the Live Gamer Extreme 3. It's a plug and play 4K USB external capture card that offers features like variable refresh rate support, which is the first time we've seen this on a card from Avermedia, audio line in and out, along with 4K capture and pass-through. It has a retail price of roughly 160 quid, which isn't too bad considering the features and the specs that you get in one of these tiny little boxes. So let's go through the specs and my testing and find out if this could be a good option if you're looking to level up your content creation game a little bit. The Live Gamer Extreme 3 is packaged quite well and includes everything you'll need to get capturing right out of the box. The device itself is held in place by a cardboard insert. There isn't much plastic used at all in the packaging, to be honest, which is a nice thing to see. Included in the box is the device itself, of course, along with a USB-C to USB-A cable, a high-speed HDMI 2.0 cable, some cards with instructions on how to contact Avermedia if you need to, and then finally there's the instruction manual, which I have to say is very basic. There's only very basic setup instructions in this manual, and if you want anything more detailed, you'll have to go onto the internet, onto Avermedia's website. I think a bit of a better instruction manual would be nice to see, and it would definitely be helpful for anyone that's never used a capture card before. The device itself is quite small, measuring just 113 by 66 by 21 millimeters. It's small and it's light enough at 85 grams to set up and stash away or attach to the back of a monitor or a desk with something like a command strip. It has an all plastic housing which feels quite cheap if I'm honest. All of the ports are located on the back side of the device with some Avermedia branding on the top, along with the status light which will turn blue when everything is working as it should. There are rubber feet on the bottom of the Live Gamer Extreme 3 which are to hold it in place when it's on your desk or on your TV unit. Although with the device being so lightweight, a thick and good quality HDMI cable that doesn't bend very well will lift it up out of place anyway. I have noticed that the housing has gotten quite warm when I've been using these for extended periods of time during my testing. I can't help but feel that some sort of venting in the casing would have helped with this, and I don't imagine it would have been too much of a hassle to do during the manufacturing process. Overall, I feel that the design of the Live Gamer Extreme 3 is okay. It does feel a bit on the cheap side, but then on the flip side it is really small and can be used pretty much anywhere without getting in the way of anything. So let's go over the specs of the capture card to find out what it can and what it can't do, and then I'll give you my feedback from me setting it up and using it to capture gameplay from my Xbox One S console. First, let's look at the input and output ports found on the back of the Live Gamer Extreme 3. There are HDMI 2.0 in and out ports for handling the video and audio signal coming into and passing through the device. There's a USB Type-C 3.1 port for connecting it to your PC with the included cable. This enables you to see, tweak and broadcast the signal to your stream or recording, either via Avermedia's own ReCentral software, which we'll talk about in more detail later in the video, or in other broadcast software such as OBS. Then finally, there's a pair of 3.5mm audio line in and out ports which give you the option of mixing in other audio sources and or outputting your content's audio mix to an independent device like a mixer or an audio interface. The supported resolutions and frame rates for capture and pass-through are: you can capture at 60 FPS up to 1440p and 30 FPS at 4K. The Live Gamer Extreme 3 supports HDR video, and you can pass through video at 1080p 240 FPS, 1440p 120 FPS and 4K 60 FPS. If you choose to go with a variable refresh rate signal coming into the device, then that pass-through quality will drop down to 120 FPS at 1440p and 1080p only though. The capture card also supports much lower input resolutions, down to 480p, which you might find useful if you want to set it up to capture some retro consoles or older devices that don't support modern resolutions. Right, let's move on and look at how this fared in the real world. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I set up the Live Gamer Extreme 3 to capture the gameplay from my Xbox One S console, which was connected to my 1440p 144Hz monitor, obviously via the HDMI connection going through the capture card. The initial setup and cabling couldn't have been simpler. It was just a case of connecting the console to the HDMI in port and then connecting the display to the HDMI out port. Then just plug in the USB port to your PC or your laptop and then you're good to go. It just works. I initially had a pretty big issue with the audio coming through to my PC via the USB cable. After a long time troubleshooting and thinking the review unit that I had was faulty, it turned out to be related to my PC. Here's a quick side note for anyone running a Ryzen CPU and then an X570 board like mine. If you do pick one of these up and you experience stuttering audio, try disabling CPU C states in your BIOS to solve the issue. This is what I found worked for me. I found this fix after I'd reinstalled Windows on my PC. It was painful. I wish I'd found out before. But once I'd got this issue ironed out, it was plain sailing from there. I used both Avermedia's ReCentral, which we'll talk about in more detail in a moment, and OBS, and the Xbox gameplay was displayed fine in both. There is a tiny bit of latency between the actual gameplay on my monitor and then the preview shown in whatever software that you're using to broadcast or record, but it's nothing too bad. And you would never be gaming from that preview in that software anyway. You'd always be looking at the monitor, so it's not something you're going to notice unless you look at them side by side. Avermedia's ReCentral or RecCentral software can be used to set up your stream or recording, and this is the first time I've used it and I've found it quite good. It's packed full of features, one of which being multi-stream, which enables you to stream to multiple platforms simultaneously. This is something that you can't do in OBS without adding and configuring plugins, so it's nice to see that the native software with these devices has a simple way of doing that. There are two main capture modes within ReCentral. Single mode, which just captures the video signal as a simple one source stream or recording, and then there's multi-mode, which allows much more customization, like setting up multiple scenes and sources, very similar to OBS. You can add a webcam, screen capture, media sources, text and web sources as well. Web sources is quite a big one, so you'll be able to use overlays from various different websites that update in real time. The scene you're looking at now was created and recorded entirely in ReCentral. There's also an audio mixer, so you can add things to and tweak your stream's audio mix and get it sounding just right. This is great for adding a dedicated mic if you've got it connected to your PC, which allows you to add EQ and stuff like that and have a bit more control over the quality of your audio. Audio quality is really important when creating content. The software overall I feel is really simple to use, and I found it much more user-friendly than trying to learn how to use OBS, for example, which I think is great, as it will help any first-time content creators who pick up a Live Gamer Extreme 3 to get up and running as soon as possible. So, my final thoughts on these products, and I'll say that I approached this review trying to see just how easy the Live Gamer Extreme 3 is to use for someone who is wanting to just get started into the content creation world and just dip their toes in with capturing console gameplay, and it didn't let me down. It's really simple to use solution and it would suit beginners and seasoned streamers alike. It's easy to set up and it just worked as Avermedia advertised that it would. The issue I experienced with the audio was down to my PC and not the product itself, so I can't criticise it for that at all. The build quality could be a lot better though, and it does feel quite cheaply made. The heat build-up concerns me a little bit, but I've got to say I never saw any issues arise from it during my testing. It's just something that you'll have to keep an eye on over the long run. But during my time with it, it didn't cause any problems. They did just get a bit warm. As far as the functionality of the device is concerned, it worked well and it captured gameplay in high quality. If you're looking to get into recording your console gameplay or even gameplay from a secondary PC in a dual PC setup, and you want to see what all the fuss is about with streaming and content creation, then you could do a lot worse than the Avermedia Live Gamer Extreme 3. That's the end of the video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, please leave a like down below. Let us know in the comments what you thought of this little capture card from Avermedia. If you want to go down to the description of the video, you'll find links to our merch store, our Patreon, our Discord server, and don't forget to subscribe to Kit Guru to keep up with the latest PC gaming news and reviews. Anyway, guys, I've been Matt. These have been these little capture cards from Avermedia, the Live Gamer Extreme 3s. I will speak to you in the next one. Look after yourselves. See you later.